So today's video is another video in the Halloween Kawaii Keyring series, and this series is for absolute complete beginners. So if you haven't crocheted before, these are the videos for you, but also, you know, anyone can follow along with these videos because I do simplify them a lot. So if you're an expert, just follow along too, and you'll have it done in no time. These are really quick projects, which are yarn busters, and for all you beginners that means we're only using a very small amount of yarn just to use up those odds and ends that you have lying around the house, because as crafters and crocheters, don't we all have odds and ends everywhere? Because I know that I certainly do. So today we are moving on to crocheting our skull face. This is video number 4. So far we have done, and I will show you because I've got them here. Number 1 was for the pumpkin. Number 2 was for our ghost. Number 3 was the cauldron. And today we are going to be doing the skull face, which is this one just here. Now this one I'd probably say is the easiest one out of all of them, and that's because it has less details and less features on it. We're not adding on the blush at the end. It's just a really simple smile and the 2 dashes for the nose. And there's no other extras to add onto this one. So as always, I have already made the plush, and he looks like this. Now, not quite the same as my small one, because as I finished him off, I realised I didn't have the right size eyes for this one. And like I've said before, when doing this project, you can use any yarn you like, you can use any size eyes you like, you can completely customise it to make it look how you want to. And I think I've taken a bit of creative license with my plush for this one because his eyes are quite small, but I still think he looks really cute. He doesn't look quite as good as the keyring that I've done, but he's still really cute and he's really squishy and really soft. So, what will we need to make this one? So you can see I've got everything in front of me of what we're going to be using, apart from the yarn, which will be just here. And the yarn that I'm using for this one, the white, is the King Cole Cottonsoft. I prefer this brand of cotton DK yarn to any others because, like the name of the brand, which is Cottonsoft, it's a very soft cotton. It's easier to work with. It's less squeaky on your hook, and it just glides through a lot easier, which is why I try to stick with that one. I've also got the black in the Cottonsoft as well. We're using the black DK yarn on this project to make the smile on our skull because it's thicker than the embroidery thread that we've used on the other keyrings, so it shows up better. So you won't require any of the embroidery threads on this project. You will require a darning needle so we can embroider on the smile at the end of this one. You'll require some stuffing, which is quite difficult to see there, but that's just to stuff our keyring with. If you're making a keyring, do remember that you will need the keyring. We've got a 2.5mm crochet hook, we've got some scissors, and also you will require some safety eyes. And the safety eyes I have used on my keyring are the 10mm ones. And then on my plush, I do believe these are 15mm ones. But if you can get some a lot larger, and again I'll bring on the keyring for comparison, having the larger eyes on the plush will look much better. If you do decide to go ahead and make the plush instead of the keyring, I've just used standard chunky plush chenille yarn for this one, and I used a 7mm hook. So it's completely up to you whether you want to go ahead and make the keyring with the DK yarn and the 2.5mm hook, or if you want to make the plush with the 7mm hook. So I guess let's just go ahead and get straight into it. For round 1, you need to start off with your hook and your white yarn, and we're going to make a magic ring. So for our magic ring, we need to get the end of our yarn, and this video is purely for right-handed users. I do apologise that I'm right-handed and can't teach you how to do this for left-handed users. So you want to hold your yarn over the front of your hand, pinch it between your index finger and your middle finger and your thumb. We're then taking the yarn down the back of your fingers, back over the front, and then turn your hand like so, and then move the yarn across the strand that's already there, and then you want to pick up your ring finger and put it over the yarn so it holds it in place and you've got that cross on your fingers. We're now going to pick up our hook, go under the top right of the yarn, face it downwards so you can't see the hook at the end. Can you see it just there? I'm going to turn it so it's facing downwards. Go over the top left of the cross and now pull your hook to drag your yarn over to the right hand side. So I'm just going to drag it this way. I'm then going to turn my hook towards me to end up with a loop on my hook. Can you see how that one's crossed and I've got a loop over my hook? We now want to pick up the new top left of the cross, which is this bit just here that I'm touching with the top of my hook. So I'm picking up this one, pulling it through the loop that's already on my hook, and you've done your magic ring. So you can remove your fingers. I then like to pick out the end of yarn from the centre of my circle, and there's our magic ring complete. We now need to do 6 single crochets, which is US terms, into the magic ring, or if you're following along with the UK terms, they're called double crochets, but they're exactly the same stitch. So I've got my working yarn ready in my left hand. I'm going to go in through the loop and pull up a loop so I've got 2 on my hook, yarn over and pull through both, and I've done 1. Back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. There's 2, and we need 6. So back in, pull up a loop. There's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you've got your 6 stitches, you want to take your short end of yarn and pull it really slowly, and we're going to close this circle. But do it slowly because otherwise your work will twist. So I've pulled that one. It doesn't have to be completely closed, and it will probably open up more as we go along, but you can just keep pulling on it to tighten it. So there we go. There is the end of round 1, and let's move on to round 2. So we've currently got 6 stitches, and by the end of round 2 we need to have 12 stitches. So we need to do 2 stitches in every stitch. So we've doubled up by the end of this round. So it's an increase in every stitch. Remember, that is 2 single crochets for US terms and 2 double crochets in each stitch for UK terms. So if you find your first stitch, go in through, then yarn under. We're not yarning over, we're yarning under. And we're doing that because when making any form of toy, if you yarn under first, you will create a more closed stitch and you will have less holes or smaller holes in your project. So the stuffing won't show through as much. So we're not yarning over like we normally would, we're yarning under and pulling through. Now yarn over and pull through, and you've done 1 stitch. We now need to go into the same stitch, yarn under again, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both, and you've done an increase because you've done 2 stitches in 1 stitch. Onto the next stitch, 2 in that one as well. So we've done 1 and 2 into this one, yarn under, yarn over, pull through. We've done 3 into the same stitch, yarn under, yarn over, pull through. We've done 4 into the next, yarn under, yarn over. There's 5 into the same stitch, yarn under, yarn over. There's 6. If you continue going around for the rest of the row with 2 stitches in each stitch, I'll meet you at the end of the round. So once you get to the end of round 2, you will have exactly 12 stitches, and now we can move on to round 3. So for round 3, we've currently got 12 stitches, and we need 18 stitches for the end of this round. So we're doing a single 1 stitch in your first stitch, and then 2 stitches to increase in the next. So we're going 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 1 stitch, 2 stitches. And if you go all the way around, you will have 18 stitches at the end. So into our first V just there, we are doing a single stitch. So yarn under, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through both. We've done 1. Into the next, we are doing our increase. So there's 2 and 1 more into the same stitch. We've done 3, 1 into the next, 4, 2 into the one after, 5 and 6, 1 into the next, 7, 2 in the next, 8 and 9, 1 in the next, 10, 2 in the next, 11, 12, 1 in the next, 13, 2 in the next, 14 and 15, 1 in the next, 16, 2 in the next, 17 and 18, and you finished round 3. So we've currently got 18 stitches, and at the end of round 4 we will have 24 stitches. This round is a bit different to the last few that we've done. To start off with, you want to do a single stitch in your first stitch and then an increase, so 2 stitches in the one after. So we're doing 1 and then 2 in the next, 2 and 3. From now on, we're going to be doing a single, then an increase, a single, and then an increase. So it's 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, until we reach 23 stitches. And like I said, we've already done 3. So a single next, 4, a single, 5, 2 in the next, 6, 7, 2 singles, 8 and 9, increase in the next, so 2 in this one, 10 and 11, a single in the next, 12, a single in the next, 13 and 2 in the next, 14 and 15, 2 singles, 16 and 17, 2 in the next, 18, 19, 2 singles, 20, 21, increase in the next, 22 and 23, and then just one single into the last stitch, 24, and that's the end of round 4. So this is round 5. We've currently got 24 stitches and we need 28 at the end of round 5. So we're going to be doing 5 singles, an increase with 2 stitches in the next, 5 singles, 2 in the next, 5 singles, 2 in the next, 5 singles, 2 in the next. So you do your 5 singles with 2 in the next 4 times and you'll have 28 stitches at the end of this round. So 5 singles to begin with. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're doing an increase in the next, so it's 2 in the next. 6 and 7, 5 singles. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 2 in the next, 13 and 14, 5 singles, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19, 2 in the next, 20 and 21, 5 singles, 22, 23, 24, 25 and 26, and 2 in the next, 27 and 28, and you've finished round 5. So we've now got 28 stitches, and that's the exact amount of stitches that we need. So we are just going to carry on from here doing 1 single stitch going all the way around. So we've got 28 stitches. We're going to be doing 28 all the way around for round 6. But then rounds 7, 8, 9 and 10 are exactly the same as well. So I will do 1 round with you, and then you'll need to repeat this round exactly the same for number 7, 8, 9 and 10. So let's start round 6. It's just 1 stitch in every stitch. So into your first, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 and 28. So that's the end of round 6. That was just simply 1 stitch in every stitch. I'm now going to go off camera for the next 4 rounds. So round 7, 8, 9 and 10 are exactly the same as what we've just done. They're a complete repeat of 1 stitch going all of the way around. So you still have 28 stitches. So go around, do 28 stitches for round 7, then 28 for round 8, 28 for round 9, 28 for round 10, and I'll meet you back for the start of round 11. So at the start of round 11, your project will look like this, and I've just done my repeated rows of the 28 stitches. So for round 11, we're going to start decreasing our stitches. We've got 28 stitches at the moment, and we want 24 at the end of this round. So we're going to be doing 5 single stitches and then a decreased stitch. 5 single stitches, then a decreased stitch, and we're going to do that 4 times, so we have 24 stitches by the end of this round. So let's show you how to do this round. So 5 singles to begin with. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And we now need to do a decrease, so I'll show you how to do that. We're going in through our first stitch, pulling up a loop so we have 2 on our hook. And now into the next stitch, pulling up another loop, and we have 3 on a hook. You then want to yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and we've done a decrease. So 5 singles again. That's stitch 7, and 1 more, 8, 1 more, 9, 1 more, 10, and the last one, 11, and now we need to do our decrease. So into the next stitch, pull up a loop, into the stitch after, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, and that's stitch 12. 5 more singles, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17. 1 more decrease, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, into the stitch after, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, and that's stitch 18. 5 more singles, 19, 20, 21, 22 and 23, and now 1 decrease, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, into the stitch after, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all of the loops, and you've done 24 stitches, and that is the end of round 11. So, round 12, we've currently got 24 stitches and we need 18 by the end of this round. What we're going to do is do 2 singles, then a decrease, 2 singles, then a decrease, all the way around until we've got our 18 stitches. So, 1 single, there's 1 stitch, into the next for a single, there's 2, now 1 decrease, pull up a loop, into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3, and there's stitch number 3, 2 singles, 4 and 5, 1 decrease, 6, 2 singles, 7 and 8, 1 decrease, 9, 2 singles, 10 and 11, 1 decrease, 12, 2 singles, 13 and 14, 1 decrease, 15, 2 singles, 16 and 17 and 1 decrease, 18, and we have finished round 12. So before we move on to round 13, we're going to add on our eyes. Now we're working from top to bottom at the moment. So if you turn it so the hole is at the bottom, this is the top of our skull. And you know that we have already done 12 rows. Our eyes are going to go in between row 10 and 11. So if you have a look now, each line of squares is a row. So we know the last one we did just below my hook. This one along here is row 12. This one is row 11. And this one is row 10. So you want your eyes to go along this line just here. So I'm going to turn it around the other way. I'm going to class this side of my work, where that loop is, which I've taken off of my hook, as the back. And so the middle here will be the front. So we're wanting to go in along this line just here. So if you find your middle stitch, which is, for me, is probably this square just here, we want our eyes to be 7 stitches apart. So this is my centre. I'm going to go 3 to the right. So 1 square, 2 square and 3 square. My first eye is going to go in through this hole here. So I've just made a hole with my hook, and I'm going to put my eye in through that hole and out the other side, and then you just get your back and you can put your back on, and it's fairly easy just to push on. It just requires a bit of force and you'll hear a click. Now if you're one of those that is worried about your safety eyes coming off, you can use a lighter to melt that one to make sure it stays put, but obviously this is a very small project, so you will need to be really careful. So we've got one eye on already. I'm going to push that down once more. There we go. And we now need to do our next eye. So for our next eye, we want it 7 stitches over from the current one that we've got. So we can see here that this line here is the centre of that eye that we've got. So if you count 7 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then go 2 rows down, 1 and 2, and we're going in through this hole just here. So I've made that hole, I know where my eye is going. Push that one through, and now you can put your back on. There we go, and there's your eyes added. So we're now going to continue with row 13. We know that we've currently got 18 stitches, and by the end of row 13 we will have 12. So we want to do a single and then a decrease, a single then a decrease, going all the way around until we have 12 stitches left. So into the first one is a single. There's 1, decrease into the next 2 stitches. And we've done 2, single in the next, 3, then a decrease, 4, single in the next, 5, then a decrease, 6. If you continue going all the way around, I'll meet you at the end of the round. So I've gone all the way around doing my single stitch followed by my decrease as many times as I needed to make up to the 12 stitches, and I've currently got 12 stitches. So let's move on to the next instruction, and we need to now stuff our keyring. So to begin with, I'm just going to pull on my hook to make that loop bigger so we don't lose our place. And we're simply just going to get some of our stuffing and push it in through the hole. And we just need to keep going until it's full. You want to make sure that you have got a perfectly round shape for this keyring, so you can fill it up as much as you'd like. Keep going until you're happy, and I will join you for the next round. So now it's stuffed, this is how my keyring looks. And I'm going to pull on that long end of yarn to make that loop smaller again, so I can put my hook back in through that loop, and we can continue for round 14. So for round 14, we are simply doing 6 decreases. We've got 12 stitches. After we've done 6 decreases, we will have 6 stitches left at the end of this round. So into your first stitch, pull up a loop. Into your next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3, and you've done 1 decrease. Into the next, pull up a loop, into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, we've gone 2. Into the next, and the next. There's 3. I do appreciate that this can be really fiddly at this stage. Into the next, into the next. There's 4 and 2 more. There's 5 and 1 more. There's 6 and there's the end of round 14. So that is now the crochet part of this project complete. So what we need to do from here is cut a tail on our yarn of about 20 to 30 centimetres, and we're going to use it to wind in our end and then to sew on our keyring onto the top of the skull's head. So I'm just going to cut that yarn. And while we've still got our hook in our project, just to fasten that one off, I'm going to go around the back of my hook to create a loop, and then pull it through the loop that's on my hook and pull it tight so we have fastened off the bottom. We have got a bit of a hole in the bottom, so I'm just going to show you how to get rid of that one. So take your darning needle and put your yarn onto your needle, and we're just going to wind in through the last few stitches and just pull that one, and then wind in through the next few and pull that one, and it should just close up that hole so it's a bit tighter on the bottom. And now we can move on to adding our keyring. So to add the keyring, go down through the base of your skull, and we want to come up through that centre hole. Just like so. We're then going to get our keyring, and here's where it gets a bit noisy. For every one of you that have joined me on the other videos, you know what a horrible noise these keyrings make on the table, and I really do apologise because it's horrible. So we're going to take our needle and go in through the last chain of our keyring. Make sure your skull or your eyes are facing you and you've got the centre at the front. because we now want to make sure that the keyring is central. We're going to go through the first stitch of that row and back up through the middle again. And I like to do this. If you watch the other videos, you'll know, do this 4 times. So pull that one tight, and then we're going back under and up through the center, catching that chain in place. There's 2, back through, there's 3, and back through again. There's 4. After the 4th, we're going back in through that stitch and out through the bottom of our project. And pull so you've got your yarn all the way out the bottom, and we will tie that end off later. So we're now going to add on our smile to our skull, and I've cut off a piece of black yarn that is around 50 to 60 centimetres in length, and I have threaded it through onto my needle. We're going to go up through the same hole that our end of white yarn is coming out of. And then we are going to exit, and I will show you. It is 3 stitches across from his right eye. So you can see there's 1 hole, 2 hole, and 3, and we want to come out through that hole. So 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to be coming out through here. And we're going to try and backstitch his smile as best as we can. I'm going to leave an end at the base, so we have got an end to tie that one off afterwards. So the next step is to do a diagonal stitch. As you can see, we've got a line down. And we want to go across 2 rows here at diagonal, not just down here, but we're going 1 more down, and we're going to go in through this stitch just here. So you want to go in through that one, but your next stitch is just going to be 2 across, and you can do this however you want to. I'm just trying to show you as a guide with the stitches as to how I've done it. Make sure your ends are not getting tangled in that loop. So there we go. I've now got a diagonal, and I want to go back in through the base of the diagonal, and then I'm going to come out 2 stitches to the left of where my yarn is exiting. Back in through this one, and again 2 stitches to the left of where my yarn is exiting. And can you see how that smile is now forming? So I'm going to go back in through where my yarn last went in, and this time I only want to go 1 stitch to the left. So just up this way. We're then going to go back in through where our yarn last went in. And now we need to do a repeat of this diagonal line that we did on this side. So it's 2 rows up and 2 stitches over. So from this point, 2 stitches over is 1, 2, and we want to go 2 rows up. So we'll be coming out through this hole just here. So we're going in through this one and out just here. We then want to go back in through the last hole that our yarn went into. And now we need to start forming the down lines on our smile. So I'm going back in here, and I'm going to come up just above the smile. And then I want to go in just below. And slightly to the right, I'm going to come out just above. and again just below, and then do that going all the way across. Go down in through here. And if you keep doing that until you're satisfied with how your smile looks, I will meet you and we can finish off our skull. So I'm just finishing off my last down line. And after I've done that, we want to do those 2 lines for the nose. So I'm going in through here, and then I want to exit to make sure that I do the 2 nose lines. So I'm going to come up through here, and then in through here, and exit on the opposite side through the same stitch so that it's symmetrical. If my needle will allow it. There we go. Pull that one through. And then we need to repeat it. So that one goes down through and is the same and looks symmetrical. So go in, down through, and then exit through the base where your white and black yarn are currently coming out of. Pull that one all the way through, and then once we've tied those ends off, we are done. So to tie my ends, I've got 2 in one hand and 1 in the other. Just literally going to loop them all together 3 times, and I know that's an awful sound, I'm so sorry. There we go, there's 3 times. I'll now cut those ends. And then use the end of my needle to push that one in through my work and hide them so we can't see them. And there is your skull face project complete. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. This has been the keyring for the skull face. This was number 4 in the series. There are 5 in total. We have got 1 more to go next week, which will be the candy corn, which a few of you have requested. So I hope you're looking forward to making that one, and that will be the last one in this series. I have had a thought, and I do think I will be doing some Christmas ones as well. If you'd like me to do some Christmas ones, it will just be some simple small keyrings and plushes, just like this series, but for Christmas themed ones instead. If you can think of any ideas of what ones you would like me to make, just let me know in the comments just down below just here, and I will have a look at your requests and see if they are possible. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave it a like, as it does help me out so much. If you need any help at all, just leave a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. It's really helpful if you need any help, if you do just put a timestamp of where you got stuck. So for example, if you got stuck at 5 minutes and 13 seconds, just write that in the comments and then I know exactly at which point in the video you got stuck at, and it's easier for me to help you then. Remember that I have a Facebook group for my crochet and it's called Crochet with Jerri, so you can either search for Crochet with Jerri on Facebook, or again just go to the description and you'll see a link to that page there. If you wish to post a picture of your finished keyring or plush to Instagram, make sure to tag Crochet with Jerri on Insta, and I will like and comment on every single photo that gets posted on there, just to boost your engagement, and it also helps mine as well. Why can't crafters help each other out, right? So again, I do hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope to see you in the next one, which is the last video for the Halloween keyrings, the candy corn. And if you like this video, then I guess you might like this one here too.